Have you ever wondered why, as a child, you always felt different? Maybe you sensed things other kids didn't, or you saw the world with a sensitivity no one else seemed to understand. This is no coincidence. From the beginning, your childhood was sending you signals of something much deeper, signs that you were chosen. Think back to those moments in your childhood. Did you find yourself more empathetic than others? Maybe you could feel other people's emotions as if they were your own, or you were drawn to spiritual conversations and topics from an early age. This wasn't by accident. This path isn't easy. Often, those who have spiritual sensitivity from a young age face great challenges. The misunderstanding from others, the feeling of not fitting in. But those challenges were part of a greater plan, a spiritual awakening. Imagine for a moment that all those difficult and confusing moments were, in fact, tests to prepare you, to strengthen your intuition, to sharpen your perception. What if everything that made you feel different as a child was actually the key to your spiritual power? Because often, the first signs of this awakening emerge long before you realize their true meaning. Join me on this journey. Today, we're going to explore how those moments, those signs, are the confirmation that you've always been destined for something greater. You've made a powerful choice by picking up this video. What you're holding in your hands reveals signs from your childhood that point to something far greater, that you were chosen for a unique path from the very beginning. Many people go through life ignoring or misunderstanding these signs. But you're here, ready to understand them and unlock what's been inside you all along. Throughout this video, you'll see how certain traits and experiences from your early years were not random. They were clues pointing to a deeper spiritual awakening that has been waiting for the right moment to emerge. Section 1: The Signs You Missed as a Child. There were moments in your childhood when you knew, deep inside, that you were different. Not in a way that others could easily see, but in a way that made you more aware of the world around you. Maybe you felt things stronger than most, or you noticed details others overlooked. You might have been drawn to ideas or topics that seemed far beyond your years. Those experiences were the first signs that your life was meant to go in a direction others couldn't understand. As a child, it's easy to feel lost or confused by this. You likely felt misunderstood or even isolated. The truth is, many who are chosen for a spiritual path feel this way early on. Your sensitivity wasn't a weakness, but a sign of deeper awareness. This awareness was your first step towards spiritual awakening. It set you apart, even when you didn't know why. Maybe you had intense dreams, or maybe you just felt more connected to the energy around you. This wasn't a coincidence. Children who are chosen often carry an inner knowing, a wisdom that can't be explained by their young age. You felt things before you could even name them. That's part of the gift. You didn't have to know why back then, but now, looking back, those moments were preparing you for something bigger. You might have noticed certain patterns in your life, strange coincidences, vivid emotions, or moments where it felt like the world was speaking directly to you. As a child, you couldn't see these things for what they really were, messages showing you that you were never alone on this path. This awareness didn't come without struggle. Being different, feeling things deeply, often meant you faced challenges others didn't understand. But these challenges were shaping you. They were teaching you to listen, to trust your inner voice. They were preparing you for a future where this sensitivity would be your strength, not your burden. What you didn't realize as a child is that these early signs were only the beginning. You were being guided, even then, to a path that would make sense in time. The world around you wasn't random. It was responding to you, shaping you for a larger purpose. Section 2: The Hidden Struggles of Being Different. Being different as a child wasn't easy. You didn't choose it, but it shaped your life in ways you couldn't control. You faced challenges that others didn't understand. While most children seemed to go about their days without much thought, you carried a weight inside you. Maybe it was a feeling that something was always a little off, or that you didn't quite fit in. It wasn't because there was anything wrong with you. It was because you saw the world through a lens that others couldn't. There's a cost to this kind of awareness. You may have felt more alone, more misunderstood, and in some cases, more disconnected from the people around you. These feelings weren't your fault. The truth is, when you are chosen for something greater, there are often periods of confusion and isolation. These struggles are part of the process, and they often lead to frustration. You weren't simply going through a tough phase. You were being shaped by these experiences. The people around you probably didn't know how to handle your sensitivity. Whether it was family, friends, or teachers, their advice often missed the point. They tried to help, but they couldn't understand what you were going through. You may have tried to explain, only to find your words didn't seem to land. This only made things harder. You started to doubt yourself, wondering if maybe you were just overthinking, or worse, that something was wrong with you. But the reality is, these struggles were never about weakness. They were about growth. The challenges you faced were actually pushing you to develop your spiritual awareness, even when it didn't feel like it at the time. You had to go through that confusion so that you could learn to trust yourself. Each difficult moment was shaping you, testing your strength, and preparing you for the path ahead. One of the hardest lessons to learn is that not everyone is meant to understand you. This is where many get stuck. They try to fit into molds that don't suit them, hoping that will make life easier. But when you're chosen for something deeper, this path isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out even when it feels uncomfortable. And that discomfort, the feeling of being different, is part of what makes you strong. You've now started to see that the struggles you faced weren't just random obstacles. They were building you for something greater. But the question remains, why did these challenges happen to you in the first place? In the next minutes, you'll uncover the true purpose behind it all and how it ties to your spiritual calling. Section 3, the hidden purpose behind your struggles. There's always a reason behind the struggles you face, even when it's hard to see in the moment. The challenges that felt overwhelming as a child were not random. You weren't just being tested for the sake of it, you were being prepared. The path you're on isn't for everyone, and that's why your experiences were different from others. The intensity of your emotions, the deep sense of not belonging, these were signals. Not signals of failure, but of preparation for something much larger. You weren't meant to have an easy path. Those who are chosen for deeper spiritual awareness often face more obstacles early on. These moments of difficulty weren't punishments or signs that something was wrong with you. Instead, they were shaping you, making you stronger, sharpening your ability to sense what others cannot. The struggles you faced were designed to develop a part of you that others may never tap into. Where others saw confusion, you saw meaning. Where others felt nothing, you felt deeply. This depth was necessary for the path you were meant to take. Without those early challenges, you wouldn't have been forced to listen to your own intuition, to trust yourself when the world seemed to push against you. There's a reason why certain people are given this awareness from a young age. It's because they are meant to lead, to guide, or to understand the world in ways that others cannot. And with this purpose comes hardship. But that hardship has a purpose too. It separates those who will give up from those who will rise. Your spiritual sensitivity, the thing that made you feel different, was never meant to be a burden. It was, and still is, a gift. The real challenge isn't surviving those early struggles. It's understanding why they were necessary. You were being prepared to embrace this gift fully, to step into the role you were meant to fill. But this preparation comes with a responsibility. To recognize that what you went through wasn't in vain, and that it's now time to put that understanding into action. You started to see that every challenge you faced had a purpose, leading you closer to your true self. Now, as you look ahead, it's time to turn that awareness into action. In the next section, you'll see how to embrace your spiritual calling and create a path forward that aligns with the deeper purpose you've always carried. Section for embracing your spiritual path. Now that you understand the purpose behind your experiences, it's time to take action. This isn't about waiting for things to fall into place or hoping for the right moment. It's about stepping into the role you were meant to fill and owning the spiritual awareness that has always been inside you. You've carried this gift for years, sometimes without knowing what it was. But now, the time has come to fully embrace it. This is not about changing who you are, it's about recognizing the power in being exactly who you've always been. All those feelings of being different, of seeing things others didn't, weren't signs of weakness. They were your strength in disguise. The next step is to align your life with this awareness. This means trusting your intuition, acting on the insights you've been receiving, and no longer holding yourself back out of fear of what others may think. Your sensitivity is a tool, not a hindrance. It allows you to connect with the world on a deeper level, to see beyond what is on the surface, and to tap into the energy that others often miss. This path requires courage. It's not easy to walk a different road, especially when it feels like the world is going in the opposite direction. But the truth is, you were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to lead, to inspire, and to create change not only in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. You may wonder what this looks like in practice. It can be as simple as listening to that inner voice when making decisions, or as profound as stepping into a role that aligns with your spiritual calling. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your personal growth, everything you do from this point on can be an expression of your deeper purpose. The key is to stay connected to that awareness, to trust in it even when things get difficult, and to remember that the challenges you face are not roadblocks but stepping stones. Every time you act in alignment with your true self, you strengthen that connection. And with each step, the path becomes clearer. You've now reached a point where understanding turns into action. The journey doesn't end here. There's still more to uncover about how this awareness will shape your future. In the final section, you'll look back at what you've learned and see how everything connects, leading you to the life you were always meant to live. Section 5, putting it all together. You've come a long way, and now everything starts to make sense. The signs you saw as a child, the struggles you faced, and the awareness you've carried to all of it connects to a larger purpose. This wasn't about learning something new. It was about realizing what was always there. Now that you've recognized the truth of your path, it's time to take ownership of it. There's no going back to the way things were, and that's a good thing. You've seen how every experience, no matter how difficult or confusing at the time, has shaped you into who you are today. You're no longer searching for meaning, you found it. This isn't the end of your journey, but rather the beginning of a new phase. You've built the foundation by understanding your past, and now it's time to build on that. What you do from here is up to you, but the path forward is clearer than ever. You know what you carry inside, and you know what you're capable of. The choices you make from this point on will reflect that understanding. Your gift of spiritual awareness is not something to keep hidden. It's something to live fully in every part of your life. Whether it's in small, daily actions or bigger decisions, each step you take should come from this place of knowing. Trust what you've learned. You're no longer a passive observer in your own life. You're the one who sets the course. You don't need anyone else's permission to live this way. The strength you've gained from your experiences is enough. Let it guide you, and let it remind you that you were never alone on this journey. Even when things felt uncertain, You were always being prepared for this moment. You've now connected the dots and can see the larger picture of your journey. It's time to take everything you've learned and apply it. This isn't just about understanding, it's about living with purpose. You've been prepared for this your whole life, and now it's time to move forward with confidence.